Okay, folks, today it is my pleasure to be joined by Gemma Owen, head of women's football operations at Wrexham AFC. Thank you so much for your time today, Gemma.
Oh, thank you for inviting me on. It's an absolute pleasure.
So far I've talked to Wayne Jones, who owns the turf. I've talked to Humphrey Kerr, who is it fair to say that he's basically does he do what you do, but on the men's side?
Um, no, his role's a little bit different. He's his actual title is executive director, I believe.
Hmm.
So he's pretty important at the club and very instrumental really in what does go on there. Amongst a group of other people who are involved as well. But yeah, Humphrey's a very important man around the club and a pretty
Well, that
decent guy as well.
let's not undersell yourself here. I've got some quotes from Rob and Ryan about your work at the club that I'm going to bring up. But first, I wanted to start with curious about how you're feeling through 4 games. You guys are 2-1-1. This is your first time back in the top flight, and sometimes I'm just curious how you feel like it's gone so far.
Yeah, it's actually going really, really well. We recruit really well over the summer, and you look to plan ahead as best as you possibly can for and recruit a team that's going to compete in the top flight. So when it comes to it, it is almost a little bit of the unknown when you go into these situations. So we did have a bit of a baptism of fire with the first game against Swansea and at home, which was just an incredible occasion. First and foremost, it was a fantastic evening. But more importantly, what that did is that I think we laid out our stall in that game. People I don't think were expecting us to be quite as competitive as we were in that game, and I think we opened a lot of eyes. So when it came to games after that, we've come out with some really good results. So yeah, I'm feeling really positive for the rest of the season ahead.
That's incredible that you're already able to compete with a team like Swansea, who haven't been in the Prem for a few years, but that is a consistent championship club who obviously has the funds that come with that. So, and was your first home match? Did you just say it was at the Racecourse ground?
No, it was actually at the where our home ground is, where the women play. Is a different
Okay.
venue. But that was our first game there. We've only moved to that venue this season, so
Oh, cool.
it was our first game there. It was our first league televised game in the league
Wonderful.
that we're in. We were televised last season, but it was our first televised game. It was the opening televised game of the season as well. So, there was a lot of
Fantastic.
pressure on us that day. I'm playing against Swansea, who their women's team have actually played in the top flight for many, many years and represented Wales in the Champions League for many
Wow.
years up until last season where it was Cardiff City. So, we've shown, I think, that we can compete at the top level. We did obviously we did lose one game against the Cardiff City, but we were very competitive up until a certain point in the game, and unfortunately, we did just drop off towards the end. But yeah, so far so good. I can't be any more pleased and happier with the players and the staff.
So the way that you're described in the doc is, and I could only imagine how it must feel to have your work and your passion acknowledged by virtually everyone involved with the club. Me from 3,000 miles away can see that too. But everybody talks about, oh, she does everything. But I'm curious, what does your day to day look like? Walk me through your average day as the head of women's football there.
Um, it can vary. No day is ever the same. And we with us growing now as a women's section, more staff have come in, which has taken some of that workload off me to allow me to obviously concentrate on other elements. So that's been fantastic from that perspective. But it can involve anything from organising the coach travel and the hotels for the team to go down to play in South Wales. So they usually go the night before, organising their food, organising what colour kits we're playing in, to the other end of the scale where it's organising training and sessions for the under 8s and under 10s team that we've got. So it covers a whole wide range of elements of it. It's putting together technical program for our youth section.
Amazing.
Yeah, honestly, there's so many I could.
I mean, I'll say it for you. You co-manage the U19s as well, so.
Yep. I hadn't even mentioned those, had I? Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot that comes with it, a lot of behind the scenes elements, but I'm actually keen to ensure that I'm out on the pitch as well.
I was just going to say that I was struck by how hands-on you are. Now, I could imagine, because you're a football fan through and through, like, do you have to like reel yourself in and be like, I'm not the coach, I'm not the coach, I'm not the coach? Like, do you have a hard time kind of finding that balance? Because I'm trying to think of, like, if I've ever seen a technical director on the field sort of bantering with the players the way that I saw that you did, which I could only imagine just adds an element of unity to the club. But how do you strike that balance between being the boss, but then being on the pitch and being a part of the team as well?
Yeah, initially I started off as a coach. That's how I got involved in football in the first place. So for many years, I've actually been more on the pitch than in the office, so to speak. But just as time's gone on, particularly the last couple of years, just that balance has just swung more in the favour of the behind the scenes more than the actual coaching element out onto the pitch. But I still have that love and enjoyment for being out on the pitch and just being able to be around the players, to talk to them, to just ask them how you're doing, how, are you okay, and actually playing a small part, or however a smaller part that I do play in helping their development as well. And I'm still really keen to do that for as long as I possibly can. But what I also realise is that, where a staff member comes in that is more knowledgeable than I am in whatever aspect that we're trying to do, then I'm fully prepared to step back and let them take the lead on it, because that's their expertise, that's their speciality. And if they know more about a particular area than I do, then that's what I think any person involved in a football club should be doing. So
you sound just like my man Klopp. That's exactly what he does.
Oh, he
amazing. He says I'm smart enough. He says, and it sounds like just like what you're saying. I think that this is the case of not only leaders, but confident people. He's smart enough to know he's not the smartest guy. And your job is to find as many other people as you can to help you achieve that goal. So it strikes me the way that you sound so much like him. You bring up your players and just wanted to ask them how they are. Well, I was struck by your whole team, right? You and Rosie and the squad as the whole, and Dell. Someone who really struck me was Lily Jones. At the time in the doc, 17, obviously dealing with all the stuff with her dad. Was she the youngest starter on that team last year? Or
she was one of, yes. We did have I'm trying to think now in terms of starting 11. Yes, she probably would have been. We did have a couple of other 17-year-olds in and around the squad as a whole, but in terms of a starter, yes, she probably was the youngest. But I've got a lot of love and admiration for all of our players, and that goes across the board. But with Lily's been with us a long time. She started off in boys football, and when she moved from boys football, she came to us at Wrexham at 10 or 11 years old. And then she was very quickly sort of being spotted by the bigger clubs that your
Everton,
Premier League clubs. So she went to Everton, and she was involved with Wales, the national teams, at that point as well. So she's such a talent, and she's.
But more so than that, Gemma, her maturity is so far beyond her years. The way that she speaks, incredible. I could not believe a 17-year-old, effectively without her father, could have such a level head and perspective on life. So what I want to ask about her is, because I'm trying to sort of get you to zoom in, right? You say that just like you, she is Wrexham. I want to know specifically what does that mean to you?
Yeah, she's probably the absolute epitome really of what someone from Wrexham is. That is somebody who is genuine, someone who is hardworking, somebody who will literally put themselves on the line for what they believe in. And that describes somebody from Wrexham, but it ultimately describes Lily as well. And she loves who she is, her town, her the people in that town, the football club. It just encompasses everything that is Wrexham. And Wrexham's a special place, and people like Lily are special people. And yeah, she's she's definitely someone that we're very lucky to have involved with our football club, certainly.
Yeah, so I really do mean that. If she sees this, I was very impressed by you, Lily. Gemma, Rob says you are the beating heart of the entire club. Ryan says that you are putting your last drop of blood into this team. How does it feel to have your work recognized and validated by them? And is there sort of, in the way that players want to succeed for their coach, right? Like Klopp is famous for that. They go out there and they'll die for him. Is there an element of that in you, in wanting to succeed, not just for the town and for the club that you love, but for Rob and Ryan?
Oh yeah, 100%. I would say so. I mean, my love for the club has been there for such a long time. Anyway, I've been watching and supporting Wrexham as a club for what is it now? 33 years. It's been a long time. And I've grown up from being very young to obviously the age that I am now as a supporter. So a lot of my love and passion comes from there. But for the players and the staff, and particularly Rob and Ryan, who they have taken us into their hearts basically, and they want us to do so well, and we want to do well for them. We want to thank them, I guess, by putting out the performances out on the pitch and progressing as high as we possibly can, because of the belief that they've shown in us. And I think that's it's a key thing that has to work both ways. And we certainly feel the support and see the support that we get from Rob and Ryan, and we definitely want to repay that in whatever way we can.
So I want to stick to them, kind of, sort of, as I told you before we started to tape. The most I've cried when I watch the show or when you guys are featured. And not even the one where you guys get promoted, but the Racecourse win, where they're there and they're on the pitch with you. I know it's your job to look forward, but if you would indulge me, I want to go back to that day. Waking up that day, what was the first thought on your mind? And then going to sleep that night, what was the last thought you had?
Oh, what a day it was. And I've got no issues with going back to that day, by the way, because it's it was such an incredible and special day for everyone involved in it, really, because we'd been building up to playing on the Racecourse first and foremost. That was pretty special. So to wake up that morning and then to think, oh my gosh, we're going to be playing on the Racecourse later on today. And then it very quickly moved to, right, have I forgotten to do anything? What do I need to do? And starting to run through the day itself then, and making sure that we had as much in place as possible, and to make it go as smoothly as possible off the pitch. That was incredibly important. So yeah, the excitement. I actually remember going down really early, far too early, to be fair, than what I needed.
Just because you just want the day to start, right? It's the sitting around that kills you.
Oh, it was such an incredible day, and then it's making sure that the players, both ours and Connor's Keys, who we were playing on the day, it was important that both sets of players felt that the occasion was as big as it was.
And I don't mean to cut you off. I think you nailed that, because they show a shot of the two teams coming out with the mascots, and you see a Connors Key player look down at the kid, and they're both beaming. Like, can you believe this? So I think exactly what you were trying to set out, you nailed it.
Oh, well, I hope so, because it was such an occasion for everyone, and that did include Connors Key as well. It was important that this was their day as much as ours. And we knew at that point that we'd already won the league, which did take a little bit of pressure off us. That playing in front of all those people and still having a league title to win, I think that would have been pretty difficult.
Just ask the men's team.
Yeah, exactly. So for us to be able to go out there and know that we didn't have that pressure did take it off a little bit. However, it was ourselves and Connors Key all season that were just neck and neck, like it was with the men's team and Notts County. So we still wanted to go out and win that game, and we still wanted to go and maintain the record that we'd already built up at that point. So yeah, from that side of things, there was that little bit of pressure as well. But just knowing what the attendance was going to be and the crowd size was going to be, which we knew obviously in advance before we went out, that we want to go and perform for all of these people that have made the effort to come and watch us and to come and support women's football predominantly. And yeah, I wanted to make sure I was stood out on the pitch when the players were walking out, so I could just see it and take in their faces as they were walking out. And yeah, what an incredible day that was. And then going to sleep at night.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Going to sleep at night. It was, I struggled, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Going to sleep because it was just everything was whizzing around. What an incredible day that was, and to have all the celebrations, the players going to sign autographs for little boys and girls, and Rob and Ryan coming out and joining all of the celebrations as well. It was what an incredible day.
And I'm so sorry, is it Jones who's the daughter of the guy who played for the team?
Mia Roberts, her coming out onto the pitch and geeing up the crowd, and her dad being there. It's like, yes, Hulu and FX are owned by Disney, but even Disney wouldn't write that, because they'd be like, oh, that's too corny, that would never happen. But it really did happen, and it just hits you like a ton of bricks. Amazing stuff. It really did. It was we didn't know she was going to do that. And then the fact that she ran out onto the pitch in that manner, that was Mia. That's typically Mia. And I mean that in a way that she is another person similar to Lily that just totally encompasses what the football club is about. And Mia's an incredible, fantastic person to have had involved with us for that particular season, and for her to go and enjoy that moment for her, I just think it was incredibly special.
So I've got one more here, because I know you've got a packed day, and I'm gonna try to tie in this whole thing that we've talked about. So in that Racecourse game, Rosie Hughes shows why she's a star: pace, power, directness, goal scoring, all that. And you're able to keep her on the team because she has a connection to the club and town. The same thing goes for Lily Jones. But they have Wrexham specific and personal goals. Rosie wants to score goals. She wants the club to win games. It's the same thing for Lily. You, however, you said, and I'm quoting you, your ultimate goal is to give as many girls and women the opportunity to play what you believe is the best sport in the world. Now, I'm not trying to get you in trouble at all, but I do think it is important to ask, within the context of women's soccer growing so much, have you ever considered what might happen if a bigger job comes calling? And how do you weigh that ultimate goal of wanting to grow women's football, but maintain your loyalty and your love to this club in town? I'm sure that's a difficult thing that you've thought about at the time. If you don't feel like sharing, that's totally fine. But that's something that struck me, is the push and pull between a macro goal and a micro goal.
It's a really good question, to be quite honest. To answer part of the question, no, I haven't actually considered what it would be like to work at another football club. I don't know. My heart.
Or what if like a league came calling?
I don't know if I could.
Or like the league itself, or the FA, or just any sort of quote unquote bigger chance.
Yeah, no, it's hopefully what my my passion does lie with working in women and girls football and growing that to whatever capacity and to whatever extent that I'm able to do on a personal level. And I would, and right now my thoughts and feelings are, I can do that with Wrexham. We've got such an opportunity to continue to grow the club, and there's no reason why Wrexham can't be one of those bigger clubs or bigger opportunities. And if anything, there's more of a pull towards that, purely and utterly because you are part of the journey and you're part of the growth and part of the development, even more so than you would be going into something that's already there and already set up. So that's where my pull would be right now, and certainly where I would want to stay for as long as I was wanted and as long as I'm possibly able to. So yeah, I struggle to look outside of Wrexham at the moment just because of how many opportunities that there are available here. So yeah, it's a tricky one to think outside of that at the moment.
I said this to both Wayne and Humphrey. The flip side of Rob and Ryan owning your club is the way that it's growing the sport here. So, and in it, like, they have become shepherds and stewards of this. They are now two of the biggest soccer names on this side of the pond. And Mia Roberts has said North Wales has you to thank for the growth of women's soccer. But I do want to let you know that your reach is extending beyond that, because by effect, Wrexham is such a big deal. It's becoming bigger and bigger by the day here. So is Wrexham women, and everybody seems to agree that they would be nowhere near where they are today without you. So I want to thank you for growing the game specifically for women who I think deserve just as much attention and funding and praise as the men. And I wish you and your team all the best going forward.
Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, it has been and continues to be just an absolute pleasure to play a part in this. And there's a lot of cogs and a lot of people involved, but I see it as a privilege and an absolute honor to be working at this football club, and hopefully that continues for many, many years. So thank you very much, and thank you to all of your listeners and viewers that, for their support of our football club and our women's section in particular. So
it's up the town, correct?
Up the town.
Up the town. Keep kicking ass, Gemma. Thank you so much.
I love it. Thank you so much.